Yeah, me too. Both
I'm gonna risk it right now.
Yeah, I ain't never been out like this.
Okay, let's go there. Let's go there.
I ain't never been out like
Let's
this.
go there. Let's go there.
Okay.
How many fights you got?
7. I bet my house, everything I got, I'll beat the fuck out of Bobby. Line it up.
Put your money where your mouth is.
He put out cash like Floyd.
We can bet it right now.
But I didn't bring that much.
We can go find out right now.
I'm with whatever.
Like in front of everybody right now.
Look, he went to the bank and said, give me everything I got.
Hey. Nigga, don't tell him more L's in my house. Tiki was a retired MMA fighter. Active. He just knocked the nigga out a couple weeks ago.
Bro,
Look,
I'm trying to help.
No.
No.
I told him we can find out right now. Like,
and we can do that.
No.
I got my gloves in the trunk.
Nigga, I'm with whatever.
No.
I'm throwing. Ain't never done no fake.
No, shut He got a Napoleon complex.
And that's my backpack.
Hey, why you ain't got no hair there?
Hey, he look up to you.
Hey,
Nigga.
the same backpack.
Yeah.
Stop.
I'm cool.
Stop.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm going inside. Come on.
Hey everybody, so Deen the Great, Nuruddin Shabazz, you guys have probably seen Deen the Great a lot in a lot of different videos. He's all over social media. This is a guy who hangs out with Rampage Jackson, former legendary UFC champion. They do a lot of kick streams together. Deen the Great has been in a lot of news as of late, and a lot of it all for the wrong reasons. Now, keeps getting in a lot of trouble. You've probably seen, well, the latest actually is Deen the Great and Bobby Green were at Rampage Jackson's house party, and things are kind of getting heated between the two, and I'm talking about Bobby Green and Nuruddin Shabazz, to the point where it almost turned into a real fight. And of course, all of this had to happen at another Rampage Jackson's house party. Because if you guys remember, not too long ago, at Rampage's house, there was that altercation between Deen the Great and Tiki Rosen, who's Rampage Jackson's manager, and he's a former MMA fighter himself. And when Tiki and Deen the Great kind of met, and they kind of introduced one another to each other, it didn't really go so well. And then Nuruddin was talking about how, well, Tiki asked Deen, he's like, hey, aren't you the guy who got slapped just like a few days ago? And it's all over the internet. And then Deen didn't, he took offense to that. He didn't like what he said. He goes, well, I'll slap the what out of you. And Tiki's like, yeah, you will? Really? And Deen's like, yeah. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, an elbow punch just almost flattened Deen right to the canvas. I mean, and all this happened in Rampage's balcony in his condo. And Deen's very lucky that he didn't actually get knocked out so hard that he would have fallen over the balcony, because that would have been bad news. That said, and just a few days prior to that, he got slapped. Deen got slapped by Larry Wheels, who's a professional bodybuilder, because apparently Deen made some inappropriate comments towards Larry's fiance. I don't know, and then Deen recently, he had some beef with Adam 22, husband of Lena. Lena, if you guys don't know, then watch my videos. You'll know who Adam 22 and Lena are. And if you know, then you know. But recently, Deen's been spotted around his warehouse because apparently he said that Adam lost a $5,000 bet against him, and he was there to collect his money. And then an altercation happened between him and Crip Mac, who was defending Lena's honor, came out and started to box Deen. A lot of chaos, guys. It's a lot of drama. This is where influencer boxing and combat sports and sports entertainment are all kind of colliding, and they're all kind of going down the same lane. And this kind of tells you where all of this is kind of headed, right? Because before, there would be individual streams. Like you'd have influencer boxing or fighting, you would have boxing fights, then you would have MMA fights. They'd all be on different paths, all kind of going a different direction. Very rarely would they ever intertwine. Now you have all three of these including WWE and wrestling. You have all of these all in the same lane on a major highway, and they're all going down together. I think they're all kind of carpooling, if you ask me, because there's a lot of intermixing going on right now. I mean, it's fun, it's exciting. You get to see a lot of very weird, you know what, but at the same time, some people think that it's taking away from the integrity of combat sports altogether, right? So, anyways, guys, I want to kind of get into this. I mean, I'll tell you about what happened. Essentially, influencer boxer Deen the Great. Okay, he tried to press um, a UFC veteran, Bobby Green. He's Bobby's, I think, around 39 years old right now. And apparently he was mocking his knockouts. He was talking big. I mean, this is Deen. Deen is over the top. All right. He's always talking big. He's always talking smack. And he's always kind of like barking at people who are like 10 times his size. And then Deen was saying that he'd bet his house and all the money that he had that he could beat him in a fight. Bobby Green. You know what? And anyways, yeah. So then Bobby's like, okay. He didn't just laugh it off. He said, let's do this right now. And then he goes, let's cash out. Let's fight right here. And he actually pulled out a wad of cash. It looked like $100 bills. And he goes, let's do this. You wanna bet? And Dean's like, well, I didn't bring that much money, but I don't know what he was doing. He was on his phone. I don't know if he was looking at his mortgage or how many assets he owned and try to figure out how to bet all his his entire life on this potential fight. But anyways, now before this encounter escalated into like pure chaos, which because it was already starting to amass a group of party goers who were there kind of like circling around these guys. Rampage Jackson had to step in and he shut the whole thing down. Rampage came in there quicker than quick and he's like, no, we're not doing this. This ain't happening. And so this kind of tells you, right? Like why does this keep happening? And more importantly, what does it say? What does it say about the line between real fighters and influencer fighters? I mean, anyways, we'll kind of get to that in a second, guys. But hey, you know what? I kind of gave you a long kind of like an intro into the topic of what we wanted to talk about today. But if you guys are here for the first time, welcome. This is Duality 7X. I'm your host Shiraz. Here we try to cover all the latest, greatest, and most trending stories when it comes to the world of combat sports, especially the UFC, WWE, MMA, boxing. And if you guys like and hear what you see, then please smash a like and subscribe and hit the notification so you guys never miss a beat. So let's just kind of slow down a little bit. Let's kind of take a look at things a little bit. So actually, let's look at Deen the Great. Okay, let's Deen the Great. Actually, I'm gonna pull it up here. I'm gonna pull up his stats. So here we go. So look, Nuruddin Shabazz, he's got a 1-0-0 record. All right. Now this guy is building a name in influencer boxing, and I think he's trying to work it up so that he can actually get like perhaps maybe some legitimacy in his boxing, fight some fighters, who could potentially allow him to fight for a title maybe one day in one of the sanctioning bodies. I don't know. But recently he's been building, aside from building his reputation as an influencer boxer, he's been also building a different kind of reputation too, right? And so I talked about what happened last month where he got dropped by a retired MMA fighter, Tiki Kosin. And yeah, he was getting a little too aggressive in Tiki's face. And look, Tiki's, man, he's been around. He's a big shot. He seems like the guy who's kind of like a no-nonsense kind of guy. So you cross his path in the wrong way, it could spell bad news for you. And that's exactly what happened to Deen the Great. And then, you fast forward, and then I told you about how he pissed off Larry Wheels, who also does a lot of collaboration kind of kick streams with Rampage Jackson. And actually Rampage was trying to bring Larry Wheels, Deen the Great, and himself together so they can just continue to do all these streams to kind of entertain everyone out there on social media. but Larry Wheels slapped the crap out of Deen the Great because of some inappropriate and lewd comments that he made towards his fiance or girlfriend. That said, you fast forward to the situation now. Here, Deen the Great is being seen at a party. Bobby Green is a guest there at a party. He's a legit UFC veteran. He's got over 50 fights, and then Deen starts mocking him for his past knockouts, saying things like, "Oh, I bet my house that I beat Bobby," and this is where kind of things shift because Bobby Green is not a YouTube boxer. You know, he's not part-time. He's an active fighter. Tiki and Rampage actually had to spell it out for Deen that Tiki is a retired MMA fighter. Look what happened to you from a retired MMA fighter. Bobby Green is an active MMA fighter. You don't want to go there. And then Rampage starts doing this. He goes, shut it down, because he wasn't playing this game. So let me just show you first the stats on Nuruddin Shabazz. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's take a look at Nuruddin Shabazz, Deen the Great. He's got a 1-0-0 record. Just taking a look here, he's only 25 years old, very, very young fighter. But look at his fights here, okay? Look at his fights. So a lot of these have been all kind of exhibition fights. His last fight was against Amado Vargas. Amado Vargas is the son of legendary Fernando Vargas Sr., and he's got a brother, Fernando Vargas Jr., sorry. So he fought Amado. He fought him at the Misfits Mania bout that happened on December 20th. If you guys remember, social media influencer Andrew Tate took on Chase D'Amour, and he was under that card. And then you saw guys like Hasim Rahman and a few others who were accompanying Deen the Great to his fight against Amado Vargas. Now, that said, he lost to Amado via a unanimous decision. And prior to that, he's won a whole bunch of exhibition fights against a lot of guys that, to be honest, I haven't heard of. But yeah, and then he's had one fight, one win here, and that's his record. All right, so that tells you a little bit about Nuruddin Shabazz. Let me show you. Let me show you Bobby Green. Also goes by King Green's record. This guy's an active MMA fighter. He's got a 34-17-1 record. 34 wins, guys, 17 losses, and unbelievable. Like, and then one draw, right? So he goes by Bobby Ray Green. This guy's, I think, 39 years old. He'll be turning 40 soon, and he is an active fighter. And look at this, 35% of King Green's wins have come by way of KO, like knockout, all right? It's unbelievable, right? 26% of his wins came by via submission, 38% of his wins via decision. So, I mean, this is an all-around fighter. This is a guy who can exchange with you. He'll fight you standing up. He'll box you. But if he needs to, he can also take you down to the mat, and that's where he does a lot of his damage as well too, right? So all-around fighter. Again, he's an active UFC fighter. He's got 15 wins and 12 losses and one draw with the UFC. He's actually on a 2-fight win streak right now. He was with Strikeforce as well too. And look at this. He's going to be taking on Jeremy Stevens here. And he's going to be fighting him at the UFC 328. That's going to be headlined by Khamzat Chimaev and Sean Strickland. That's going to be absolutely intense. That's going to be unbelievable. And then look at some of the guys that he's fought. He's fought Diego Ferreira. Oh no, sorry, that was a canceled bout. My apologies. But look, he's lost against Mauricio Rufy and Paddy Pimblett. Both of those actually, ironically, he lost in 2024, 2025, and that was all within the first round. Mauricio Rufy is he's one bad boy, man. You don't mess with this guy. Paddy Pimblett, he lost to him via triangle choke, and that was in round number 1. Unbelievable. I remember this fight, though, in 2025, and Pereira was taking on Ankalaev. Yeah, I mean, so he had 2 back-to-back losses there, but then he bounced right back up, and he's on a 2-fight win streak, right? Prior to that, look at this. He's won against guys like Tony Ferguson. That was back in 2023, and that dude he won by an arm triangle choke. And look at this, Drew Dober. He's lost to guys like Islam Makhachev. That was a ground and pound. That was also another first round loss. It seems like Bobby Green struggles with a lot of these elite MMA fighters, where he kind of loses to these guys within the first round. But I mean, he still hung with these guys, right? And look, Rafael Fiziev, that was back in 2021. He lost by unanimous decision. Clay Guida, he took on Clay Guida. Clay Guida is just man. That's one guy you don't want to meet in a back alley. Funny thing about Clay Guida, I remember a long time back when I was training for this one job, and I had to spend a month in Cleveland, Ohio, to do some training there, and I met some guys who were also kind of from different parts of the United States. I was the only Canadian there amongst the group, but when I was with these guys, I remember one of the guys was actually friends with Clay Guida. He was like actually best friends with the guy. And so we went out one time and he was showing me like videos and he was showing me like pictures of him and Clay. And then he told me stories about Clay. He would go with Clay to like bars and like different places, and Clay would purposely pick fights with the biggest bouncers, right? The biggest like security guards that he could find, because that was his way of being able to like, you know, kind of train and stay ready and active, so that when for him, it was just kind of another method of training. Some people like to spar. Some people like to take it in the octagon in a controlled environment. Clay would go out on the streets and look for the baddest guys that he could find and pummel them to the ground. Clay's one intense guy. And Clay had a 24-10-1 record, as you can see. But surprisingly, he beat Clay Guida. So very, very interesting. But anyhow, it goes on and on and on. He's fought, I mean, like it's absolutely incredible. This guy's resume is it's a great resume. He looks like one seasoned guy, definitely a guy that you don't want to mess with. But I mean, again, that tells you a lot about these guys and about their conditioning and about where they're at. So for Deen to go out and start, you know, challenging these guys without really doing his homework, that's scary stuff. That's scary stuff. So anyways, guys, again, just like, look, so Green pulls out a wad of cash, as I mentioned, starts waving it around, and then he's telling Deen, hey, listen, man, you want to fight? You want to bet me this? You want to bet me that? Let's prove it. Prove it to me that you got the funds and all this. No promotion, no contracts, no safety net. You want to fight? Let's fight right here. And again, it looked like all of this was going down on Rampage Jackson's balcony. But anyways, man, if that fight would have happened, I think it would have ended pretty quick. But anyways, I mean, Rampage was like, no, I'm not having any of this, guys. Not at my house party. And honestly, this I think was the smartest move. You know, you have to give props to Rampage Jackson. Look, he's cashing in big time on all the social media stuff. He's hanging out with guys like Aiden Ross, Neon, Clavicar, all these big time, like, you know, social media influencers, kick streamers. And he started to find a new cash flow, a new opportunity for him that he's doing very, very well with. And he's connecting with a lot of guys, connecting with a lot of different, you know, age groups, and bringing the world of MMA and social media influencing kind of together. But, you know, Rampage Jackson has a cooler head as well, too. He understood the gravity of the situation. He came in, he shut it down pretty quick. And he specifically told Deen, listen, man, look, you tried this before with Tiki, you got dropped, all right? And that was a retired fighter. And now Bobby Green, this guy's active. He just knocked someone out weeks ago. You don't want this, all right? And so essentially, man, like, yeah, some Randy Party moment, but Deen knows how to get views. He knows how to stir things up. He's very successful on social media because people follow him, whether they like him, whether they don't like him, they follow him at the end of the day, right? So he does bring a lot of that audience. He brings a lot of that energy and vibe to his streams, and that's why people want to see him. And sometimes he has to do stupid crap like this for him to get these kind of views, right? But in public, for attention, for content, for moments, that's That's what this is all about, I think, right? Because this isn't a sanctioned fight. This isn't even an octagon or a place in a controlled environment where you got safety measures for fighters. This is like in somebody's balcony, and anything and everything could go wrong, right? So, anyways, guys, I mean, at some point you continue to poke the bear's going to poke back, and the bear in this case is, the world of professional fighters. And if Deen really wants to perfect his craft, if he really wants to be a legitimate fighter, then he needs to continue on the circuit and fight fighters and prove his legitimacy, so that one day he can kind of get to the position where he can fight for like a potential title, right? But fighting MMA, active MMA fighters, retired MMA fighters, in people's house parties. I mean, it may sound kind of like entertaining and fun for us to watch, but it could be really bad. It could really, really be bad for this guy, right? Because there's no way to just shut that off. A fight's a fight. When it goes, and somebody gets knocked out or hurt really badly and then it ends, that's not a good sign, right? So anyways, if Rampage didn't step in, what would have happened, right? This is going to end very badly for Deen the Great and probably changes his whole career overnight. I mean, look, Jake Paul took on Anthony Joshua. Some people say F around and find out. And Jake Paul had multiple surgeries on his jaw just to repair it. And some people say he may never even fight again. But Jake has been hinting about the possibility of returning soon, and he's already got a lineup of candidates that he's ready to tango with. So that'll be interesting. That's going to be coming down the pipe here shortly. But anyways, guys, moments like what I just showed you, they're valuable. They go viral. They build a lot of they build names, essentially. This is the kind of stuff that's only going to propel Deen the Great up. It's also going to bring Rampage up. And now people are going to be talking about King Green. If King Green wants to enter the space, there's going to be a lot of stuff there. There's definitely a lot of interest when it comes to these crossover style kind of events that happen. And people want to see it, right? So people been watching Neon and Aiden Ross hang out with the likes of Ramon Sarukian, Ilya Tapuria, a lot of very famous fighters. People like that. People want to see that. So the hype is there. The demand is there, right? So this is how I think influencer boxing at least keeps pulling attention away from like traditional combat sports with stuff like this. There's an element of risk as usual with everything. It's dangerous from both sides. But I mean, guys, like when you're thinking about Bobby Green and his side, he's coming off a very big win in UFC Mexico City, right? I mean, he knocked out a very favorite Daniel Zaluber. Like, people are not talking about this. He knocked him out, all right? And Daniel was going in there as a favorite, and yeah, kind of Bobby flipped the script on everybody there. That's momentum. That's real momentum, right? And right now, he's looking for a name, all right? Diaz is, sorry, I'm talking about Nate Diaz. Because there's a lot of rumors and speculation that Bobby wants to fight Nate Diaz. But Nate Diaz is already booked against Mike Perry on Logan Paul's card. That's going to happen in May, and with MVP promotion. So that door is closed. He's not going to be fighting Nate Diaz, at least not anytime soon, right? So then Bobby Green is kind of like stuck in this kind of like a weird spot, right? He's dangerous, he's active, but he's still searching for that next big opportunity. And Deen could potentially pose as that next big opportunity, although Deen doesn't have the same kind of fighting experience or level of caliber when it comes to fighting as Bobby Green does. But Deen brings a lot of social media. He brings those fans. He brings that engagement, that hype, and all that marketing and buzz. And when you bring all that together, guys, that could only help Bobby with his career and his future aspirations. Because if his career is starting to wind down, which it will be, because I mean, he's 39 years old, he's going to be turning 40 soon. He's going to have to start looking at other avenues, life after fighting. And so this could be that opportunity for him to kind of get into social media himself and start kind of working the fan base. So anyways, when you look at the whole situation, guys, yeah, it's not just about Deen the Great talking trash. That's what Deen's good at, is talking trash. But it's about where combat sports is heading, right? The lines are starting to get blurred, folks. Guys, influencers want credibility, and this is how these guys are going about it. You know, fighters want bigger paydays, influencers want bigger paydays themselves, and when you create a lot of attention and a lot of hype to something, you're going to get moments like this, and they're going to go viral, and they're going to sit right there until that tension gets to the point where these two guys get together and actually fight. So anyways, guys, Rampage stepping in may have saved more than just a bad night for somebody. It might have actually saved a career. But I mean, guys, there's a difference between going viral and getting exposed. Rampage might have just saved the day. Anyways, guys, that's how I see it. Let me know what you guys think below. Put your thoughts and comments below, and smash a like and subscribe. Hit the notification so you never miss a beat. My question to you guys is, was Deen out of line? Or is this just a new reality of like combat sports? And as always, guys, like, you know, thank you very much for your time. The pleasure was all mine. I look forward to catching you guys in tomorrow's video.